Hi all, it's Askew 2000 here with kind of a quick gear review of the Black Diamond Icon headlamp. This is the newer version that came out. I don't know exactly when it came out. I did have the previous iteration of this headlamp. I think it was 320 lumen max output. And they've done quite a few little changes on this, most notably that it's now a 500 lumen max output. And it's there's a few other things that I was trying to find out online and without reading the manual, see if anybody's done reviews on it, just make that comparison between this and the original version to see if it was a worthy upgrade. And I couldn't find a lot of information, so I just thought I'd kind of walk through the features of it with everyone. So first off, it is powered by 4 AA batteries. You can buy an optional lithium-ion battery pack, but it's not really necessary in my opinion, especially with the rechargeable AA market the way it is. I really prefer these Panasonic N-Loop Pros. They have they're meant specifically for high drain devices like lights, and I think they outperform even alkaline batteries in almost every way. And I'll talk about one little minor issue that I have with it a little bit later on. But those are the batteries I prefer, and that way you don't have to waste money on an additional battery pack or something. The mode of operation is pretty simple on this. There's just a single button, so that's very similar to the previous model. They have kind of changed this up. I think this was silver and kind of scaled a little bit on the previous model, but they've kind of turned it into this black plastic or something. So it's easy to turn on. You just one press turns it on, one press turns it off, right? And all of the light modes are dimmable. So with the light on, if you just press and hold at any point, it'll jump up a little bit, it'll go down, and then you can just keep pressing and holding and it'll go back up. It defaults to 200 lumens. I'll show you how to do the light memory thing. I think the previous model, the 320 lumen one, automatically had the light memory on there, but this one you actually have to activate the light memory, but I'll get to that in just a second. If you're ever indoors or trying to read or something like that, you may not want like the full flood of light that's coming out of that, or the full force of the light. So if you press the top button twice, it turns on this proximity light here, which again is dimmable just by pressing and holding. And this is really great, so if you're working somewhere close by, you don't have to blind yourself to deal with that. So proximity mode is kind of nice, and when you actually get to the full max output, both the proximity light and the main light will turn on. Another kind of neat feature, this is something that they've added to this model. If you turn it down, you can imagine if you're like walking out in the woods or something, and you have a sudden need for max output. They've put this kind of touch-sensitive bar. Let me see if I can actually aim it towards the camera. There's no button there, but it is touch-sensitive. And this works better if it's actually on my head, but you just tap it, and it goes directly to high output. And then you can tap it again, and I think it'll go back down. So that's kind of nice. If you ever need a lot of light in a pinch, it's kind of cool to have that. They do have night vision modes. So to activate night vision mode, you have to have the light off, and then you just press and hold, and you'll see that the red light turns on. And again, the red light and all the night vision modes are dimmable just by pressing and holding when it's on. And this is nice if you want to kind of preserve your ability to see at night. It's not like night vision goggles or anything like that, but it does kind of help a lot. So if you were to turn your light off, you wouldn't have to readjust your eyes in order to do that. Now they call these next two modes, if you just hit it twice with the light on, you can actually change the color from red to green. Press it twice again, you can have blue. Those aren't ideal for actual night vision because they're shorter wavelength light. So if it were me and I wanted to actually be able to preserve my night vision, I would just stick with the red. And then just turn it off and press and hold to get back to your white light mode. I think that's all. Oh, and the other thing is if you press it 3 times really quickly, you can go into a strobe. And I think you can actually do a strobe too in the red, blue, and green lights. And then, that's fine. I've never really actually ever used a strobe light, but I can see why it might be useful in some instances. It is waterproof. So the previous model I think was just an IPX7, 6 or 7, I'm not sure. And then this new model is IPX67. So it's not only waterproof to IPX7, which I think means it can be submerged in, I want to say 30 meters of water for 30 minutes or something. Maybe it's a little less than that, I'm not sure. But it's also dustproof. So that first number, the 6 and the 6-7, is to indicate that it's dustproof to a certain extent. So again, you can fully submerge this. You don't have to worry about water destroying any of the components or anything, which is nice. So like I was telling you, if you wanted to, and if you turn it on and straight out of the box and you dim it to as far as you want it to go, some people would want that to return when they turn it back on again, but unfortunately, since I don't have light memory turned on, it'll go back up to the 200 lumen default. So to turn on the setting memory or light memory, you have to do it when you put your batteries in. So they say, and this is the one video they actually had on their website describing the features of it. When you put your last battery in, you have 25 seconds to do this. You put it in, lock it. You press and hold with the light off, and the red light should come on. And then it should switch to a blue flashing light. And then there should be this pause. And then it should flash amber. And when it flashes amber, you can take your finger off the button. Now, when you turn the light on and you dim it, and then you turn the light off, and you turn the light back on, you'll still be in that lowest setting. All right. Now, the one thing that I think is kind of dumb about that is if you were to go to turbo mode, let's see if I can even do it, turbo mode, you turn it off, it's just going to go default to the 200 lumen setting. So you can't actually have it recall or turn on in high output, which I don't know why. I think that's kind of silly. But, oh well. Only other thing, oh yeah, I was going to mention the one kind of downside, I guess, of using rechargeable AA batteries has to do with the light indicator. So you can kind of see right here, I'll turn on the proximity light. You can see there's kind of a green light that's coming down here. That's supposed to be an indication of the charge level on your batteries. So if you had alkaline batteries in there, if it were green, that would mean that you have 50 to 100% charge in your batteries. If it were amber, you would have 25 to 50% in your batteries. And then if it were red, then you would have less than 25% life left. Because rechargeable AA's come in at 1.2 volts as opposed to 1.5 volts, this indicator is really not going to be terribly accurate. So you're going to have a very short window of green light because it's assuming that you have less charge than or less power output than normal. But you're going to have an extended period of that amber light. So it's going to be a really long amber light period, and then eventually you'll run out of battery. But so I guess the only downside is that this isn't going to be 100% accurate. It'll be kind of accurate, I guess, but it's going to not be what they report in the manual or something. Now, that's not to say that the batteries are going to underperform when compared to alkaline. So I think each individual N-Loop Pro AA battery is a 2,450 milliamp hour cell. So you have 4 of those together, which is actually more battery capacity than an alkaline battery. And because this has that special circuit that will provide the same light output until there's like 0 charge left in the batteries, you're not going to get a weaker light. It's still going to be 500 lumens. It's going to last longer. These batteries are going to last longer than alkaline batteries. It's just that the voltage is coming in a little bit lower, so parts like that battery level indicator aren't going to be 100% true. Um, so, overall, I think it's a really great, fantastic headlamp. I have seen some complaints, and I can actually hear it too. Some people really can notice this very high-pitched whine when you turn this on. It's really subtle. It's not worth me complaining about or trying to, send this back because there's a little high-pitched whine. You get used to it, you adapt to it, and I think it goes away when you run it on higher light outputs too. So there are some small disadvantages here. But overall, I think it's a very well-built headlamp, and I would highly recommend it, and hopefully this video helped you guys see if there's any differences between this and the older models. So have a really great day, and yeah.